all the different changes that the track has gone through and the way you guys have had to adapt. And we've heard people complain about the racing's not as good as it was here because of the changes, and now it's better. How do you? I mean, how does it look to you now? Is it as fun?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is it's pretty much in everything in life, but especially in this business, it's impossible to make everybody happy. So what you think is a great race might not be the same as what he thinks is a great race, which might not be the same as what I think is a great race. So, people can argue that all day long. I mean, it used to be a 100% one groove track, and yeah, some cars would move each other before they switched the styles of the cars, and then it was hard to even move somebody. So I think that as much as I love the old track and didn't want it ever changed, I think that the changes they made and reconfigured it certainly gave you more options. It made the racing, in my opinion, better because you could look for different grooves and you could get alongside somebody and hopefully pass someone where that was tough to do before.
And one other thing, as far as 2018, any plans that you as far as driving next year?
No, not at the moment. When I do, I'll tweet something like on a Monday or something. No plans right now. Just raise kids, hang out with my family.
All right, Jerry, go ahead.
Somebody gave you a bum mic.
Yeah.
So I can hear you through the crowd.
I was going to ask the same damn thing Kenny was, but last time you were first up in the media center, you had a big announcement. Obviously, you say you don't have anything right now. How is that transition? Are you talking to people at all, or are you at least looking?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you know when I know something, but I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not worried about it even really 1% anymore, to be honest with you. So I'm just not concerned about it. It's not on a, I'm really concerned about 2017, and that's the truth. I mean, we got, 13 races or something left, 3 to try to get into, I think 3 to try to get into the playoffs. We're not in there yet. Kind of got ran over at the end of the race last week by the 24, trying to race him and won at least for points. Try to get a cushion. If we don't get a win, but hopefully we get a win, get in the playoffs, and try to race for a championship. That's our goal every year, and really that's what I'm concentrating on at this time.
Have owners been visiting you or anything like that?
Say what? When I got something to tell you, I'll let you know. I just don't have anything about next year to really talk about at the moment.
All right, Mike, go ahead. Oh, here it comes, Mike, right behind you.
He's going to bring you the same mic.
Mike Hendrick, USA Today. Looking for a win, you seem to be a guy that doesn't really change how he operates a lot. But if you're top 3, top 5 here with 5 laps to go, do you race a little differently knowing that you sort of need that win, more aggressive or more bumpers or whatever?
I've never been in a race I didn't want to win. I've never been in a race where I didn't feel like I needed to win. I don't know that it really changes. Ever since Daytona, we've been trying to win and know that we, quote unquote, needed that win. So to me, it doesn't really change. You're gonna race as hard as you can and try to get that win anytime you can. It's really hard to win races at this level. I've been doing it a long time. Really haven't won that many races compared to how many I've started. So I realize how hard it is to win, and you always try to take advantage of those opportunities if you have them.
Your wins here have come in a lot of different circumstances, track surfaces, configurations, all that. Any one particular harder or easier than the others over the years? And is it harder to win now, the way the track's set up?
Yeah, I mean, I've never had an easy one. Probably the first one we won here was probably, I don't want to say the easiest, but we probably had the best car. We're on a pole, and we led a lot of laps, and unless it messed up, it's probably going to be hard to beat us. But other than that, none of them are ever easy. I really like the old configuration with the old cars, but with the new cars, the new configuration's pretty good. We've had really good cars here since I've been at JGR. We've had some DNFs, some bad things happen, but we've led some laps. We've been in position most races. Didn't run great in the spring, but finished okay. So hopefully we can get our car to run like it typically does here, and if we can do that, we're usually a contender more so than not.
Any final questions for Matt? All right. Oh, one final question from Kenny.
You're talking about the different cars and the way they've changed and stuff. I know when we talk to drivers about like 1.5 mile tracks and everything, when they go back to them for the second time, they're like, if we brought what we had back like to Michigan or to Kansas or wherever, we wouldn't be in the ballpark. With short tracks with like Martinsville and Bristol, is it the same thing there? I mean, has the car evolved so much since you were here in the spring, or are the short tracks more of you could probably get by with that?
I think you're always making your cars better. Even if the rules don't change, I think that you're always refining your setups and your cars and how everything runs. So I feel like, especially when we do things at JGR, I don't think that you come back here, in August is the same thing you had in April or May, whenever it was when we were here. I don't think that would probably run as good. So you're always making improvements. If you're not, you're getting behind in a big hurry.
All right, Matt. We
Thanks,
appreciate your
guys.
time this morning and wish you best of luck this weekend. All right. Good morning. We're going to continue with our media availabilities this morning, and we've now been joined by Chase Elliott, driver of the number 24 Napa Chevrolet. And Chase, just to kind of kick things off this morning, you had the opportunity a couple weeks ago to help promote the Bristol race here, and you had a chance to go and host the Grand Ole Opry. So if you could tell us a little bit about that experience, if it was fun, nerve-wracking, something you enjoyed there in Nashville.
Yeah, I did. Nashville's a cool town and a great place for for us to go and promote this race. So I appreciate Bristol having me, and like I said, a trip to Nashville is always a good time. So I enjoyed that. The Grand Ole Opry was really cool. I'd never been there before, and to hear some of the background on that was pretty neat. And it was a little nerve-wracking being up on that stage. I don't sing, and I didn't feel like I belonged on that stage, but it was fun, and hopefully had a good response, and we'll have a good turnout tomorrow night.
All right. And to talk a little bit about this weekend's race, obviously racing here at night. Talk a little bit about just night racing and how that differentiates from being here in April.
I think it's just a prime example of wanting what we can't have, and I think we do this race one time a year. It's a huge event. It's it's more than just another week. The Bristol Night Race is one of the coolest races on the schedule, and that's what makes it what it is the fact that we only do it one time a year, and I think we should keep that in mind for other decisions moving forward.
All right. We'll go ahead and open for questions for Chase. If you have one, please state your name and affiliation. We'll start up front with Mike and go to Woody.
Mike Embry, USA Today. How comfortable or uncomfortable do you feel with your point situation?
Well, you're never comfortable. We're certainly in a tight spot. I mean, we're there towards the back. I don't exactly know 100% where we are, but I know we're one of the last few spots of non-winners that are still in. So that's not a comfortable position to be in, because there's always an opportunity for a guy on the outside to win a race and bump you back into another position. So it's tight for sure where we're at, and we feel like we need a victory to feel good about it. Heck, we're not many from having a full playoff list of winners. So we aren't real comfortable with it, just because in that position you're not really guaranteed anything.
All right. Woody, go ahead.
Woody Kane with MRN. Chase, off weekend for the Cup Series next weekend, and a lot of guys will go look to try and find another race car to jump into or something, and some will say, nope, don't want to have anything to do with it. How do you treat those off weekends since they're so rare? You real protective of them, or what do you like to do?
Well, for some guys, people have opportunities to go race. The other guys don't. I don't have people just blowing my phone up to ask me to come drive their car all the time. So that's a great problem to have if you have that. And I love racing and love short track racing, and I'd love to do it if I had the chance, but I don't. So in that situation, I'm going to enjoy my off weekend. I'm going to go on a trip with some friends and kind of enjoy it that way.
All right. Mark?
Mark Darrow, PRN. Chase, just simply, how do you assess this season? It seemed like last year you were a lot closer or had more opportunities to win. Just how do you feel about how things have gone so far this year?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. We did. We we had some really strong runs to this point in the season last year. We've had some strong runs this year, but I don't feel like not quite as many as we did last season. It's not for a lack of effort or a lack of trying harder or trying to run good. Things just haven't worked out as many times as they did last year for us to have some great opportunities to go win races. And we're working hard to try to get back in those positions more often. And we didn't capitalize on the opportunities we had last year, because looking back, it's like, man, I'd love to have as good of a chance as we had some weekends last season. I didn't realize how good of opportunities we did have when we had them, looking back. So that's frustrating. There were some days last year, too, where I feel like we did make the most of our opportunity, and it still didn't work out. So hopefully we have some more chances moving forward, and we can maybe even try to turn a decent day into a really good day, and those are the ones that you really need to be proud of.
All right, Tucker, you're good? Okay. All right, we'll go to Lee and then Bob.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Good morning.
Morning.
Are you a morning person?
When I have to be.
Casey seems to be under tremendous pressure even before he got let go. And is there, when you're at the top organization in the sport, how different is that, especially when you're a young guy, compared to running in the Xfinity Series or taking the best car to some little short track in Georgia? How does that mount over time, and is it worse when you haven't yet won a race?
I can't speak for Casey and in his situation. I've always looked up to Casey for a long time. So I by no means think that Casey has forgot how to win races. I just don't think that's the case, for him. So I'm a. Yeah, well, I will say it's it's definitely something to strive for sure. I mean, when the guy next door is winning a lot of races, coming off a championship season, I don't necessarily know that it's pressure, but I think it definitely drives you to want to do that, and know that you have that opportunity and the same chance he does next door. So in reality, for me, I don't know how Casey looks at it, but I know for me, if we're somewhere and we're struggling and he's not, then I don't think there's any excuse for that. So that's kind of how I view it. And if that's the case, then I want to make sure I do my job to the full potential that I feel like I can do it at. And in my eyes, I think that we should be able to if they're having a good day, I think we can have a good day too.
And of all your teammates, is there somebody who's set up that you like, that perhaps you have your setup's close to them that you can build on? And that being said, with Alex doing all the testing, do you feel like he will be somebody closer to your age that you might be able to lean on as well?
Yeah, Alex has done a lot of testing. I'm not as familiar with with his trends of setups. He, for the few races he ran last year, I don't really recall kind of where he fell in our balance sheet. Typically for us, we're kind of in the middle of our teammates. I would say in the middle to swayed towards the 48 side slightly, more so than the 88 and the 5. But we're all different, and our crew chiefs and our teams go about things differently too. So we might, some of us might actually be hunting the same balance, and it might show up a little bit differently on our balance sheet. So, but as far as the sheet goes and what it shows, we're down the middle, if not swayed slightly to the 48 sometimes, and I would say be about it. Yep.
All right, Bob. We can get a mic to Bob. Thank you.
Bob Hocker, ESPN. Was Michigan more demoralizing than some of the others, considering your past runs there, or considering the way this season has gone? Is any top 10 finish a good day?
Well, I knew the second place streak was going to end at some point. I was just hoping it was going to end for the better and not for the worse. But I can't say it was. I wouldn't use demoralizing as the word. That's a big word. I don't even know if I've ever used that word ever in general. But no, I don't think Michigan was demoralizing for us. I don't think we had a second place car the last time we ran there. I don't think our team would say we had a second place car in the spring race. But the way the restarts worked out, and we kept getting the top on some restarts and got going and got to the front, and that last run in the spring race was short enough nobody could pass us back in that short amount of time. So it kind of worked out. So, I felt like for us, we had an opportunity. We were kind of right there in fourth, and didn't have a very good restart. Wasn't able to push Martin like I wanted to, and then got fifth on the last one, and was just kind of hard to get going. So no, not demoralizing, but we'll definitely take a top 10 in a solid day, for our situation versus a bad day.
All right, we can get a mic to Kelly, please.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Chase, with how close you came last year and how strong you were last year, the longer it seems to take for you to break through to get to victory lane, did you expect that, or does it weigh on you at all that it's taking maybe a little bit longer than many would have assumed based on how you ran last year?
We definitely want to win. I want to win for sure. I want to be in positions more often to win, and I think that, to me, that's the key to it all. When you're in position more often to win, you don't feel like that one opportunity that you have one day we hit on it. Today we don't feel like you really just have to push through the wall to get there that one day. And that's what makes it tough, is when it's just an opportunity here or there to get there. It's when you have opportunities time and time again, over a course of 15, 20 weekends that you've just been running really, really good, and you've really been on your game and on top of it for that period of time. When you have more opportunities, the more wins come, and I think that's where the guys who've won multiple races this year, those guys hadn't just run well the weekends that they won races. They've run well all season long, and when that's the case, you're going to see them win races, you're going to see them lose races, but they've had the chance to do it, consistently, and to me, that's the key to it. So we want to have those chances consistently, and I think if so, we can get the job done if that is the case.
All right, Chris, 9. Okay.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Hey, Chase. At this point last year, you had run 6 Xfinity Series races, and you haven't ran any this year. Is that by choice or desire? And if you were offered an opportunity, would you?
Yeah, I don't know. I asked Dale. I guess I got fired. I don't know. But no, JRM has been really good to me over my career, and obviously we had some great success there in 2014. So definitely would love to run a race or two if I could, or had the opportunity to. But I haven't been asked to, or really had a chance to do any of it. So nobody's asked me. So it's hard to say yes when no one's asking. I can't say it would or wouldn't. It's tough. Maybe some places that you feel like you really struggle at to get some extra laps, but the cars are different, and there's some weeks where it is kind of nice just to be driving a Cup car and to just have that schedule to worry about, and to just have that car to worry about. So some weeks it might help some, other weeks I would say no. So kind of mixed bag.
All right, let's go back to Bob, and then we'll go to Jessica and in with Tucker.
Bob Packers, ESPN. Last year you led more laps, and I won't say you were at 7th in points. You're not having a bad year at all, but we don't see a whole lot of emotion from you, good or bad. Is this season eating you up at all inside, or does this stuff kind of, I won't say roll off your shoulders, but do you feel like you're in kind of a good place mentally?
Yeah, I think I'm in a good place mentally. I just think for a lot of things that you go through, or the good and the bad, I think you just have to kind of let some of it just go, because there's going to be days where you're giving it all you have, and it doesn't work out for you some days, and some days that's your fault, and if that is my fault, those are the emotional days, and those are the ones I'm going to be really frustrated with, as we've all seen, and I want to hold myself accountable. And there's some days where we might just all miss it as a team, and we're going to run good together, run bad together, regardless. So you have to really let all the days go, whether they were a good day or a bad day. But no, I don't think it's eating at us per se. I feel like we're all in a good place mentally. I am. I think Alan is, and I think if we can get things rolling a little better and find some pace and find some consistency and running well each week, I think you know, it's easy to have everybody hyped up and attitudes to be great when you're running good. You know, it's the years and the weekends that you're struggling to keep keep the morale high and try to keep moving forward. That's tough, and I think Alan does a really good job of that.
All right, Jessica, and then Kenny.
Jessica Ruffin, NASCAR.com. Chase, with your position in the playoff standings, do you and Alan look at gambling more, or do you more focus on trying to preserve kind of the position you are in right now?
That's a really good question. A tough question because, you know, there's some really, you know, nowadays a gamble is not so much a gamble anymore. You know, we see, you know, used to you might see a guy come down pit road and do something really different and see them, you know, stay out on 2 tires or stay out and not pit or come down pit road and do gas only at some point in the race. Now we see that every single weekend. You know, everybody knows all the tricks to the, you know, track position and the pit strategy and things to move forward in a race or take a chance. You know, really the only time we see somebody, you know, have something weird work out for them is when a caution falls at the right time for them, and none of us really know when that's going to happen. So I think we're all gambling per se. You know, we're all just kind of doing it together instead of, you know, one person being on their own island.
All right, Kenny, go ahead.
Kenny Bruce, NASCAR.com. Totally off the wall question here. So Monday's the Eclipse. Any plans for you to watch that? Is that something that interests you at all, or what are your plans for Monday? Are you going to try to watch it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I like this question. You know, I didn't know about it till about a week and a half ago. I was at a friend's house and he was telling me about it and telling me what he was going to do. He was going to go. And he's like, yeah, it's this huge deal. And I'm like, well, what is? You know, I didn't know anything about it. So, yeah, I'm interested. I think it's kind of cool. I feel like what would be really neat would be to go take off and be flying while it happens. So I was going to go do that possibly if the weather was good on Monday. I do have a flight to catch Monday night, so if I can make the timing work out, I'd like to go fly and kind of see it from the air if we could do that.
All right, Chase, we are out of time today, but thanks for your time this morning, and we wish you the best luck this weekend.
Thanks. Y'all have a good one.